Welcome back to Ghost Pirate Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today I thought it'd be fun to do something a little different. Today I'm going to rank all of Rob Zombie's movies, all the movies he's written, directed, etc. I'm going to rank them all in a tier ranking. I've never done a tier ranking before, so this should be fun. So with that, let's get into it. So I'm going to do these not in chronological order, but just in the order that it has them down here on the bottom of the screen.
This is my Death Factory. You are the product.
I love it. Like that.
So the first one on here is 3 from Hell, and I'm not a fan of this movie, not at all. I actually just finally watched it. It's been out for quite a while now, but it just did not look good. I just really wish he hadn't have made this, because I feel like it just really taints how awesome Devil's Rejects is. And I'll talk about that one as I get there, but this one was just a big fail for me. Everything from the acting, it just didn't feel real. It just felt like pointless, like they were just making a movie just to make a movie. It didn't really feel like it added anything to the lore, to the story, to the characters. If anything, it just felt tired and worn out. And it's a bummer because I love all the actors involved. I am a big fan of Rob Zombie too. So I wanted this movie to be fun, and it just wasn't. It wasn't the funness of House of a Thousand Corpses, and it wasn't the brutal savagery of Devil's Rejects. Beyond that, it just ruins the ending of Devil's Rejects, because that's kind of the whole thing about that movie. And I'm going to try not to spoil these because some of you may not have seen them, but the way Devil's Rejects ends, it doesn't need a sequel. It shouldn't have a sequel. And I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, for me, 3 from Hell is a big fail. So I'm going to put that one in the F category right there. It's a real shame because it just really bums me out. In a lot of ways, it would have been so nice to have a really complete trilogy if you're going to make another one, but it didn't add much of anything to it.
Is survive 12 hours of our own private hell.
So after that, we have 31 down here. And I know a lot of people are not a fan of this film, and I get it because it has that gritty, uncomfortable, makes you want to take a shower kind of feel that a lot of Rob Zombie movies have. The dialogue is just cringy. There's a lot of swearing. It's just crude and all of that. But I love it. I love that grittiness. I love that dirty quality. It just is savage in so many ways. I love the look of it, the style of it, the humor behind it. I know it's not for everyone, but for me, I think it's a big winner. I'm not going to say it's one of his best, but it's definitely an enjoyable movie. So I'm going to put that one in the B ranking. So 31, I'm going to put in the B ranking, because it's a lot of fun to me. It's not a perfect movie, but it's above average, and I really enjoy it.
You're gonna start the killing. You best start it right here.
All right, next up, we have The Devil's Rejects. So, in my opinion, this is Rob Zombie's best film. It's complete. Everything about it just feels really well done, and I think it's a modern day classic, to be honest. The acting is solid, the story development, the character development, everything just really builds on what they did with the House of a Thousand Corpses, but really polishes that. It takes a lot of the humor away, which is what I loved about House of a Thousand Corpses, but instead it has this really gritty, merciless, savage, just absolutely brutal, uncomfortable quality that just makes it a phenomenal film. So for me, there's no doubt in my mind this movie is an S tier, because like I said, it's a modern day classic. I think it's going to go down as one of the real iconic horror movies from the last 20 years or so. All right, and next up, we have Halloween. And I know a lot of people are really divided on this. I actually really appreciate what Rob Zombie did with it. I like that he added this story and background and all that to Michael Myers, because it's a fresh take on it all. And I'm not saying it's better than the original, not even, that's not even the discussion in my opinion. It's doing its own thing. It's a different kind of movie. It takes a different look at it. And then he does pay homage. So if you enjoy the first, he does pretty much do it shot for shot once, Michael is back in Haddonfield. And so it still has all of that. And this is the most vicious Michael probably from the entire franchise. He's just big, bad, and angry, and just kills people in the most savage, brutal ways you can think of. And I appreciate that because it makes Michael scary in like a different way. Because instead of being creepy and lurking in the dark, this Michael is in your face and just this big opposing figure that's gonna rip you to shreds. But I think it's a great movie. I really do. I really enjoy Halloween. I'm not going to say it's S tier, but I do think it's an A tier movie. I think it's really, really good. And I know that's divisive, and I totally understand both sides of the argument, but this is just where I stand on it. I enjoy it. I enjoy what he did with it. I enjoy the savagery, and so it's definitely an A movie for me. Now, Halloween 2, his sequel, I'm not as high on. It went weird, but I don't hate it either. I don't think it's an F like a lot of people think. I really don't. I don't think it's great, and I definitely don't think it's anywhere near as good as his original Halloween, but I think it has a lot of cool qualities to it. It's very artistic and creative, and he was really trying to do some stuff with it, some unique things that just don't necessarily always work. But I do think it's a lot better than a lot of people think it is. I think if you go into it and kind of rewatch it with a different perspective of not trying to compare it to Halloween and just kind of enjoy it for what it is, I think it's a much better watch than a lot of people give it credit for. So because of that, I'm going to put it in the C tier. I definitely don't think it's anywhere near as good as the first, but I do think it's still a good movie.
Howdy, folks. You like blood, violence, freaks of nature?
And now we go to House of a Thousand Corpses. And this might be my favorite Rob Zombie movie, because as much as I love Devil's Rejects, I think it's a phenomenal movie, like really a classic, like I said. I have so much fun with House of a Thousand Corpses. The just silly, over-the-top nature of it, the humor involved, the characters, the way everything looks. I just rewatched it for the first time in quite a while, and I just think it still really holds up. If you like that gritty, uncomfortable thing that Rob Zombie does in his movies, this is a perfect one. I mean, Captain Spaulding alone just makes this movie worth watching. That opening scene just gets me every time. It's so much fun. I just love it. The brutality of it, the costume designs of it. I love that Rob Zombie had money to play with, and you could see it on the screen because he got so creative with the props and costumes. They're just phenomenal. And so for me, this is not an S tier because I think that's a classic. That is like a modern day classic to put in S tier in my opinion. So I'm not going to put it there because I do see some holes and flaws. The dialogue isn't the best. It is a kind of all over the place kind of movie. There's a lot of things like holes, like I said, in it that are not necessarily the greatest, but I have a lot of fun with it. So I'm going to put it in the A tier because I do think it's a fantastic movie. And like I said, it probably is my favorite Rob Zombie movie.
God does not spare angels when they sin.
I just watched this for the first time in a long time, and I had totally forgot. I'm not going to put it there. I totally forgot how much I enjoyed this movie. I really think it's one of his best. Acting, the story, the creepy, uncomfortable nature of it, the way he depicts witches is phenomenal. It's one of the better witch movies out there. And it just gets so disturbing as the story develops. It's creative in a unique way too. Like the story is different. It just feels fresh and unique and original. And so I think it's a really good movie and a really underrated one, to be honest. So I'm going to put it in the B tier. It is slightly above 31. So, but I can't quite put it in the A tier. You know what? I'm going to move 31 down to C, because even though it really for me is more of like a C and a half, almost a B, it definitely isn't above Lord Salem for me. So I'm going to move that down here to the C tier. And then the last movie on the list, which is another very, very divisive pick, and that's The Munsters. And I wasn't in love with this, but I also do see what he was trying to do here, and I do appreciate a lot of the things about it. I really especially appreciate I'm not gonna put it there. This thing keeps moving them. Anyway, I do really appreciate what he was trying to do, the visuals and all of that. And the fact that it originally was supposed to be done in black and white, that explains a lot too, because the whole vision Rob Zombie had with this was to be a black and white movie. And when you watch that trailer, you can really see that this would have looked better. It would have fit better. It just would have played as a better movie in black and white, in my opinion. Now, it still's not the greatest. A lot of the humor just does not land for me. But I did like the quirky quality of it. I do really like the costume designs and the set designs. And like I said, a lot of his vision on how things looked. It's just doesn't quite get it for me. You know, I really just, the story just kind of felt pointless. And I really just didn't care for a lot of the characters. Sherry Moon Zombie was okay, but I didn't love her. And Jeff Daniel Phillips just didn't really work for me at all as Herman Munster. Just the voice was a lot of it. And I know that they didn't want to overdub it. I don't know. I really like him a lot as an actor. And his physical performance was okay. It really was the voice. The voice just did not work for me at all. So I think I'm going to have to put it in a D. You know, it's definitely got its fun qualities about it. I did enjoy it in some ways. But, you know, it's not a C for me because it definitely isn't as good as 31. I don't think it's as good as Halloween 2 either. But it's definitely not as bad as 3 from Hell. 3 from Hell is the only one of Rob Zombie's movies that for me, I just wish didn't exist. I wish it could just have never been made. I just didn't really enjoy it at all. It felt hard to watch. It felt super cringy and uncomfortable for me to even watch it. So that's it. That's me ranking all of Rob Zombie's movies. I am a fan of his. I do enjoy all of his movies except for, like I said, 3 from Hell. That's the only one I can honestly say I don't really enjoy. But I just think he's a fun filmmaker, a unique filmmaker, and doing things kind of in a different way. And when you do things in a different way like that, of course, it just doesn't work for everyone. But that's it. If you guys enjoyed this type of video, ranking videos like this, I'd love to do some other directors, you know, maybe John Carpenter, or I don't know. It would be fun to do a series of director ranking videos. But, you know, it just depends if this works, if you guys like this or not. So if you liked it, hit a thumbs up down there. Let me know in the comments what you thought. I'd love to see your rankings down there in the comments too. But like always, thank you so much for watching this. And I want to give a huge, huge thank you to the Ghost Pirate Army, the Ghost Pirate crew over on Patreon, and to the channel members over here. You guys mean absolutely everything to me. And if you would like to find out how you can help support the channel, there's a link down in the description for Patreon. Or if you want to become a channel member, there's a button right down there that says join. But like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember, guys, horror can be fun. I'll see you guys next time.